Its surface made up of roughly 1/3 land and 2/3 water. Water that carries ships and workers who are the merchant seafarers from port to port around the world. Each of these massive hulks of metal is guided and worked by a small group of men and women known as seafarers. It's a dangerous job that is never far from your mind. As a merchant seafarer, whether officer or crew member, you live where you work. 8 to 12 hours is the standard work shift, but once it's over, you can't escape life on board ship. It's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And as these ships that sail around the world get older, and their owners administer the trends of businesses everywhere in downsizing and emphasizing bottom line profits, it is often the crew and their living conditions that are compromised. Sometimes seafarers are not paid for months at a time. They get sick, have accidents, are denied adequate health care, or when their contract expires, they are not allowed to go home. That these merchant seafarers continue to live and work under such conditions is a testament to their spirit. The majority of today's merchant seafarers come from the poorest countries of the Pacific Rim, where unemployment might be high and labor costs are low. Job training is sometimes poor or non-existent, yet these souls venture on board ship, thrown into a mix of nationalities and cultures, unaware of the many dangers that await them. It becomes a stressful, difficult, lonely life. But in most cases, this small group of diverse individuals is able to make it all work. After all, it is their job. A job that feeds their families and pays for the homes where their families live. Homes that are many miles from the ports they visit. Once in port, the action surrounding a ship is fast and furious. Time is money, and a ship makes money when it's sailing, not when it's docked. The ship may be big, but the crew that works it is small, and they are needed on board. The unloading and loading must be accomplished as smoothly and as quickly as possible, leaving little or no time for the crew and officers to visit land. So the visit comes to them. It could be a member of the clergy, a volunteer, or a representative from the local Seafarers Center. For many seafarers, this visitor is the only person they can turn to for help with personal, spiritual, or physical concerns. They are the chaplains of the sea, and their only interest is the well-being of the crew and officers on the ship. And their calling is to welcome the stranger in our midst and to befriend the ship's crew. In the United States, over 180 port ministries serve the visiting seafarers in various ports. Only half of these ministers are ordained. The remainder are laymen or volunteers, people from the local communities. Several organizations like the North American Maritime Ministry Association work with these local ministries to coordinate the enormous effort it takes to minister to the local maritime communities. It is the work of these organizations to provide a network association open to all agencies and individuals that encourage port ministry. When a ship comes into port, it is swamped by government officials, business agents, ship suppliers, longshoremen, customs and immigration officers. But of those who go on board, there is one person whose sole purpose is the welfare of the seafarer. And that person is the chaplain or volunteer from the Seafarers Club. Each ship visit is an adventure. At the top of the gangway, the chaplain or volunteer never knows whom he or she is going to meet. They come on board bringing magazines, Bibles, books, or other small items to give away. items that might have been donated by local groups or churches, something that helps improve their life on board ship. These ship visits provide an opportunity for lots of good counseling and conversation. By being sensitive to the needs of both the ship's officers and those who work on the deck, in the kitchen or in the engine room, the chaplain or volunteer soon discovers that each group has different needs and different things to talk about. After meeting the ship's officers, the chaplain goes to the mess room to talk with the crew. These visits are the chaplain's ministry in the workplace. The chaplain learns about the specific needs of the seafarer during their stay and offers assistance wherever possible. Phone calls to home via cellular phone are a popular request. For the seafarer whose ship is not turning around right away, the seafarer will find a friendly place at one of the 150 seafarers centers throughout the United States. Each center may be different in feeling, location, staffing, or what they offer the seafarer. It feels good for them to get off the ship for a while, to feel solid ground beneath their feet, make contact with their home by phone, perhaps wander through a shop somewhere, or even visit an American home. The chaplain can arrange a trip into the city via the many volunteers that help get the seafarer from place to place. When you don't speak the language fluently, it's hard to get around in a strange town. For the chaplain or volunteer, this provides the chance for additional Christian fellowship, as well as helping them to get to know the ropes. Seafarer centers around the country offer different services based on the needs of their local maritime community. The centers, among many other services, may provide money exchange, hospitality, recreational activities, a place to have a beer, somewhere safe to go and talk with others. They are centers where the seafarer and anyone connected to the maritime industry wants to go because of the excitement, safety, the familiarity, and the warmth of fellowship. It is their home away from home. Other services might be offered too, like personal or family counseling, referrals for alcohol and drug abuse problems, help with legal problems and with their rights as seafarers, providing an opportunity for worship, help in sending money home, even those simple things we take for granted, like mailing a letter or trying to call home. Utilizing support from local resources, local ministries are able to adapt to the ever-changing needs of the maritime industry. Phone cards, available from a mobile ministry, provide seafarers an opportunity for low-cost calls from home where no other option exists. Vans and other forms of transportation, often donated by organizations like the International Transport Workers Federation, give local ministries the chance to offer service to the visiting seafarer. Vans provide transportation to the local Seafarers Center, a chance to go sightseeing, do a little shopping, to experience a little of our world and come to a better understanding of our people and culture. What makes this kind of ministry possible? The people and organizations that support it, including maritime unions, port authorities, maritime industry groups, and the work of volunteers. People like you. You can make it happen by adopting a ship, welcoming a seafarer into your home, volunteering to be a ship visitor, helping out at the center, preparing holiday gifts which are often delivered to the ships, organizing literature, raising funds, helping with the paperwork, promoting and organizing local ministry events, and visiting with the seafarer at the center or on board ship are some of the many responsibilities filled by the local volunteers. People who understand the importance of extending a helping hand to those who work in an industry that is so very important to each and every one of us, because it is these ships that transport 95% of the cargo that holds our economy together. The purpose of this ministry, whether large or small, is to give the seafarer and the maritime community support in their spiritual and social needs. To work with and share with people from this multicultural maritime workforce who who must work together to achieve a common task, is the reward of this ministry. It is a thrilling ministry because of the global perspective this ministry brings to life. Our mission is not to change faiths, but to share faiths by serving the seafarers and their families and inviting them in turn to serve others. Our Christian faith calls us to be present with these migrant workers of the sea, to welcome them into our lives, people of many nations and of many faith traditions, and to share our lives with them. Our ideals are like the stars. We never reach them, but like the mariners of the sea, we do chart our course by them. Help us to chart our course to make this journey real. You can make it happen.